Hola guys, how are you? So, there's someone who had a question about the pricing video that I did before, and they requested for a more detailed breakdown of how someone can price. So, I'm gonna go on this through different ways. Number one, we can talk about the pricing formula. So, the most basic, and common and reliable formula is usually cost price equals to material plus labor plus overheads. So selling price equals to cost price times profit margin. Or more specifically, selling price will be equal to materials plus hourly rate times time spent plus overheads times markup. So, breakdown of each component. Materials, what are these? Materials include all the yarn, all the buttons, all the zippers, all the embellishment. Even if you're gonna use elastic thread, include that there. Be accurate. If you use half a skein, charge for half. If you use a whole skein, charge for a whole skein. If you use two balls, charge for that. B, labor. Decide on your hourly rate. Consider minimum wage in your area, your skill level and speed. So for example, if you've been crocheting for more than 5 years, your hourly rate will be higher compared to someone who has been crocheting for 1 year or less. Yeah, so include that. Research hourly rates in Kenya. It costs how much. Also research hourly rates abroad or internationally. What's the average hourly rate? Yeah, for example, if you crochet for 5 hours at 500 shillings per hour, your labor will be 2500. Yeah, so for international sales, you can go higher, maybe mark up the hourly rates that are based on those countries you're serving. For example, if it's in the UK, if it's in the US. So basically, it is up to you to consider which hourly rate you're gonna use. Depends on also your target market, because if your market is abroad, you're most likely to use hourly rates that are being used abroad. If your market is within the country, it depends on which level of social level you're targeting. If you're looking at the average level, your price won't be as high, your hourly rate won't be as high as if your target market is the high end people, those people who have money and are open to spending. Yeah, overheads, these are small extras you might overlook. For example, the internet, electricity, if you're gonna use it, packaging, tools, marketing, and all those little things, transportation here and there. So allocate a small fixed amount per item, e.g., for example, 200 shillings to 500 shillings. That is if you're gonna use some money to go pick extra yarn. And if you're using internet during maybe you're watching a video on YouTube, yeah, that's what we refer to as overheads. D, markup. Markup is the profit margin. Yeah, so typically 1 times 1.5 or times 3 the cost price. So for example, if your cost price is, say, for example, 2500, you're gonna do the markup will be times 1.5 or times 3. That's like the range. So for example, if you added all these things, cost, you've added the materials, you've added labor, you've added overheads, what you get, you multiply by 1.5 or 3 depending on you and depending on your target market. So go higher if it's a luxury item or highly unique or made to order. So it's easier, for example, to do what you've done before. If someone orders something that is on your page, you've done it 100 times, you've done it before, it is way easier. So you may multiply it by maybe 1.5. But if it's something that's unique, maybe someone has sent you a Pinterest image and they want something made, so you have to do a lot of research, so you'll go on the higher side because it will most definitely take you more time and it will definitely cost you more. Yeah, you'll watch videos, you may even end up buying a pattern, so you need to consider that in the amount. You can even multiply it by more, because your value, you are the one who decides what your value is based on your experience and also your quality of work. Okay. Local market pricing tips. For example, if your market is local, yeah, you're providing or you're making stuff for people within the country. So one most important thing you need to do is research local competition and understand what your target client can afford. That is very important, because sometimes we end up messing up. We end up not having a specific target market. So we end up, fluctuating. This time you're selling a beanie at 1,000. Next time you're selling it at 500. Next time you're selling it at 3,000. Next time, it's not consistent. It doesn't make sense. It means you're trying to serve everyone, which does not make sense in the business world. Another thing you need to consider is offer a tiered option. For example, simple, basic designs for budget buyers, intricate or luxury for one's higher end people. So for example, you may have a beanie price. So you say, I have beanies that range, I have beanies that cost 1,500. These beanies are made of maybe local yarn. They are made of very simple stitches, basic stitches, single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, the very basic. Then you can have the intricate luxury beanies that can cost 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000. And you can say these ones are made of high-end yarn, say 100% cotton, a mix of wool and cashmere and all those things. And you can say they are made of more intricate stitches or patterns. You see, so you have something for people on a budget, and you have something for the high-end people who prefer luxury and prefer, more detailed and exclusive stuff. Focus on value. This includes customization, durability, and handmade charm. Yeah, focus on value. Always have that in mind when you're doing something, so that you don't end up underpricing, even though you're trying to accommodate people who are on a budget. Yeah. Okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about, we've talked about local market, we're going to talk about international market tips. So for this, use platforms like Etsy, Shopify, or Instagram shops. So Etsy at the moment, if you're not in the Western countries that have Etsy pay, we are not allowed to use Etsy because of issues with payments and stuff. So maybe Shopify or Instagram shops. This is accessible by everyone all over the world. Consider shipping, taxes, and currency conversion, so that at no point is your profit being eaten up by these things. Yeah. So number one, you will calculate your total things, your total price, as I've explained before. And then now, if you're shipping to international markets, you need to consider shipping. Who are you shipping with? Consider taxes and consider currency conversion, so you don't lose any money. Highlight handmade, ethical, slow fashion. This appeals to most people, and it adds value. Why? Because they are aware that this item has been made by people by hand, and the people have been paid well, they've been well compensated, they've been treated well, and they made these things by hand, and it's slow fashion. By slow fashion, I mean it's not being made by machines in a factory somewhere. It's being made by people. So that adds more value to the item. That's why the price will be higher. Don't be afraid to charge premium prices. Global customers appreciate artisan work. Guys, let me tell you something. People who have money value exclusivity, and they value uniqueness. That's why when you sell a sweater at 30,000 and your client is someone who understands, they won't have issue paying that, because they know, okay, probably I'm one of the 2 people wearing this design of sweaters in the world, and they'll be open to pay for it. So always charge premium prices, because the target market that looks for premium things understand what it takes and they value it. quick example of local calculations. Oh wow, my time is up. I'll have to do part 2 of this.